Good evening. I hope everyone's doing well tonight. In the last few, or last maybe couple of flies that I tied, I was working on trying to get this Tinsel chenille stuff that I have to work well. It's some cheap stuff that I got on Amazon, and it's great because you get a bunch of colors. This is a really bright green, but when it comes off very flat, so it doesn't stick out very well. So I'm trying to figure out ways that I can get that to pop up on the fly and do what it's supposed to do and make it be a real fuzzy profile. So I'm going to do a hopper today. I was thinking about doing another woolly booger, but I've tied a couple of those recently, so thought I would do a hopper again. I'm going to use a green color. I'm going to go ahead and turn this around. Sorry for my hand in the way. And we'll get this going. I'll show you what I got happening here. There we go. All right, so another thing that I got that I've been talking about is a really inexpensive set of threads for tying. Came in many colors. I've shown them on my other videos. It was maybe 12 to 15 spools of thread for fly tying, and then the chenille that I bought was maybe again 15 colors of chenille, and so pretty cool. Pretty cool purchase if you're tying flies here and there. If you're trying to do professional stuff, it's probably not going to be good for it, but I'm not. I just want to tie some flies that I can catch fish with. So anyway, I'm gonna go with my back to my old American Eagle hooks. These are bait casters, or bait holder hooks, and I'm not real concerned about the type of hook I'm using for a hopper fly like this. So no big deal. But these hooks do have an offset on them, which I like to straighten out, and then they also have these barbs on the top, which is what makes them a bait holder, and I like to get those out of the way so that they don't break my thread when I'm trying to tie my fly. And so I just hold it with the vise and pull towards me a little bit and try to get that bend straightened out like I like it, and then I put the back also in the vise and press, and then it presses down those barbs. So now it's ready to tie. So this is a hopper pattern. It's going to be kind of like a sort of like a grasshopper imitation, but it's going to be very bright colored. There we go. So just do that to make sure that it's nice and tight in the vise. Turn this up just a touch, and I'll go ahead and start with my base layer of thread. So I got a couple of things I'm going to do with this one. Just trying to figure out, this thread is kind of funky. It kind of comes apart when it's loose, and so it hangs up on things. Like if your hands are rough, sometimes it hangs up on your hands, and it'll catch on the hook real easily. But it seems fine to tie with, not terrible. So I'll just run this down, trim off this excess with my dull scissors, and then I'll be using foam on this. So I got a foam body. I already trimmed a strip of this, but I'm going to trim off to a point here a little bit. I always have a hard time getting the points even. They always look funky to me, but it looks okay. And so I'm just going to tie this. Pull this down snug. And I'm just going to go forward with this and make sure that it's laying down well on the hook. And I'm going to come right up to where the eye of the hook is. Just keep wrapping around here. This foam has a tendency to flip over, which actually might be a good reason to leave the bait holder barbs on the back of that thing, but I didn't. So there we go. I'm just going to bring that down some so that it lays down on the hook, and I'll probably trim this up, this tail here, because it's kind of doing some weird stuff. I want to make it shorter anyway. But that's pretty much the good start there. Now, one of the things that I wanted to try with this to see about making this this chenille work, I'll show you what I mean by how flat it is when you take it off, if you haven't seen my other videos showing this. So usually chenille is real fluffy like this good stuff here. It's more like a pipe cleaner, but this is very flat. When you turn it sideways, it kind of goes away, and so it only shows up when it's laying flat. But I want to try to make it go in between my yarn so that it'll then stand up. So I'm going to hold that for later. Well, I'll go ahead and tie a piece off on the back here, so I'll have it ready. I'm just going to take a length and lay it across the top here. And the way I do this, because this is kind of hard to do sometimes, but you lay your materials here and you get your thumbs where you want to start your thread, and then you come up in between your thumb and your finger and you actually pinch it. So I'm actually holding the thread here, and then I'm going to pull down while still holding the thread and kind of ease it between my finger and thumb, and then pop down, and then it holds it. And that keeps it on top of the hook where I want it to be, instead of having it roll over the top. And then you just kind of keep laying it on the top there, because you don't want one side to be real lumpy and the other side to be thin or whatever. And then I'll just go back again to where I tied that off. I'll keep that laying to the side here. In just a second, I'm going to tie that around this. So I was thinking about using some of this micro chenille. This is actually like yarn, but the color that I have is only this bright yellow, which could be okay. Good contrast on that one. But I was thinking I had some yarn that was the same color, so I'm going to use this foam, and I'm just going to take my scissors and cut a very thin strip to use as yarn. So I'll just use it basically the thickness of the scissors, and just work my way, cutting a nice straight line. And then I'll have a nice, maybe 6-inch, what would be a piece of yarn. I hear my wife just came home. Yay, wife. Hi, my love. Sorry for yelling. So now I've got this piece of foam. This is just regular craft foam you would get at Michael's or wherever. And I want this to taper bigger towards the front. So I'm going to tie in this. I made it a little bit thinner on one end. I'm going to tie that thin end first. And this will help also with flotation when you throw it. Not that it'll have much trouble floating because it's foam already. But let's go here. So my intention here is to wrap that and then wrap the tinsel over the top and have it pop up in between, and we'll see if that happens. I haven't done this yet. I want to be careful tying this in. Hey, I'm in my room tying. So I'm just going to wrap forward. I'm good. I'm tying a fly. It's okay. Hey. Hey, everyone. I'm gonna live. All right, and then I'm going to take this and wrap it right in those same grooves in between that and see if it makes it pop up like I want it to. Just go pull it right in between. It seems to be doing an okay job. Try to fluff that back a little bit as I go. I got like maybe 2 more turns here. Right there. And then I'll just tie that off. So that worked pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. It stands out a lot better than it did other times. Go ahead and trim that. Keep that one for the next one. And then I'm going to go ahead and do fold this back and make the head. So what I want to do here is just come back like this, and you can see the eye is here. I'm just going to do that right there, and then go kind of the same thing I did when I was tying in the materials at the beginning. I'm just going to kind of pull tight and make sure it stays on top of the hook. Do 2 or 3 turns. You got to be careful with this thin thread when you wrap this foam, because when you pull too hard it can cut the foam. So I want to be careful about that. And then, so that's all I need to do with that piece, and I'm just going to cut this about here. Get that more square. I'm going to actually take these points off to just a touch, kind of give it a wing effect. That's what I do from the other side. Okay. All right, and then I want to tie in some legs. So I have these rubber legs that I stole off of a, I guess a spinning jig or whatever it's called, a bass jig that has a skirt on it. It has a rubber skirt that wiggles. So I'm going to take this and break them in half. Use 2 on each side. All I'm going to do is hold it to the side here. Two turns on that side. Get my other 2 pieces that I just cut off. Hold it to this side. Do a couple of turns on that side. So there's the legs. And then I want to do one more thing, and then I'll finish the fly. I want to have a little bit of deer hair. Find my deer hair. Well, there it is. I'm tying on a slide out writing desk, but it slides out over the top drawer where I keep a lot of the materials. So it's kind of a smart setup. So I'm just going to take off from this is a section of a tail. I'm just going to pull a section here. I don't want too much. Take that and snip it off. Like that. And I want to go ahead and, I don't always do this, but I want to use my hair stacker. My hair stacker. I said that like a true Texan. All right. So a hair stacker is this tool right here, and what you do is you it's hollow on the inside. You can take it apart. So you take your hair and stick it down in there, and then you just tap it. And then when you turn it around, when you take this out, the hair stays and all the ends should be pretty much aligned. Now, then you take these pieces and you hold them in the middle, kind of. You take out the pieces that are too short, the scraggly ones, and then you're left with mostly hairs that are all in line or kind of make a good shape at the end. And I should have turned that the other way when I took it out. But what I want to do, okay, so that's a good tuft of hair. I'm just going to put it right here on top. I could also have put this underneath that wing, and it probably would have been better, but that's okay. Because all this will do is make it stand up on top and make it more visible when you cast it. And I can still do something on top to make it kind of fix being out of step there. So all I'm going to do is lay it on top and put a couple of turns like that. And then I'm going to come in with my scissors, pull this straight up, and snip the hair off on that. There. And I'm going to real quick grab, I have some yellow foam that I can use. I could do orange. Orange will be better. So this bright orange, I'm going to put a piece of that on top. So I'm going to take my scissors and just snip off a little bit. It really doesn't take much at all. And so I'll lay this on top. Just right on top of where I put the head. And it's just going to be a chunk sitting on top of it like that. And that'll help cover up that extra hair. Like 3 turns there. And then I'm going to try to whip finish this around these legs, which is not going to be easy because my whip finisher is not very big. But yeah, I'm going to do it like that. I'm just going to have issues if I do that. So I'll do it the Dave Camus way. Dave Camus is where I first learned to start fly tying. He's an online fly tyer, and he does it like this. So you put your finger above, you go up and over your finger, down below your fly where you want your thread, up over your finger again, but to the left a little bit. And then you just snip off the thread, and then you take your finger, you go through the first one, you grab the second one and pull it through the first one, lay it back where it was, and then do it again. Now you get 2 turns. Oops, I missed it. Get 2 turns on that thread, turning it into itself. And then I like to use something like these smaller scissors and grab the thread off my finger and then pull it down into place like that. I'll do that one more time. Over the finger, under the fly, over the finger again. Hold it with this back finger. Go under, grab that one, pull it through, and put it back in place. Go under, grab it, pull it through, put it back in place. And then just lay that thread right in the groove where you want it. Pull it tight, snip it off, and have a little bit of leftover thread, a little bit of waste, but nothing major. I'm going to flip this fly over on its side a little bit. And I'm going to come in here and put a little bit of nail polish, just clear nail polish as glue. This nail polish has really gone south. Just want to get it in there on the threads a little bit. so that when it hardens, it'll glue that thread down. I'll turn it around this way and do the same thing on the other side. There we go. And last move is to pull this orange back. I don't want this to be this long, so I'm going to pull it back, snip it off this about the same size as the front of it. Just want it to be a little tag on top of the fly. And that'll just help it be more visible when you cast it on the water. Not that this fly wouldn't be visible because it's so bright anyway. But I'll just turn that up like that. Straighten it out, get my hair going back. I'm going to take these and make them just a touch shorter on the front. On both sides. One thing I could have done with these back legs is where they're together, I could have tied them and made a knot so they would have a bend in them like a grasshopper's leg. But I didn't think about that before I tied the fly, because that wasn't my intention on this fly. My intention was to worry about how that chenille worked, that bright flash chenille stuff. Anyway, there is the little hopper fly. Gotta move everything on top. And that's it. Nice and bright. Something that'll hopefully attract the fish. So there's my hopper fly, and hopefully a solution to this odd chenille that lays flat when you try to wrap it. So thanks for watching, and if you like my flies, I know I'm doing this on Facebook, but if you go to YouTube and look for Quiet Man 28, this is maybe video number 83 or 84 that I've done. And so if you wanted to watch some other flies, just to see how I do them, or just to see what I come up with, or just to listen to my amazing voice, you can go to YouTube and watch all my videos there, and subscribe and like and all that stuff. I don't try to get paid for it all, but it's fun. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good evening, and I will see you around.